Hi everybody, welcome to our fireside chat. Sorry we're a little bit delayed with the guys having a bit of a funny roadblock there, but I think you guys managed to get around it in the end, didn't you?
Yeah, we had to take a long way around. We had to come all the way around Nyala Road South back onto Twin Dams Road in Chelapan.
Sure.
And a big surprise, we found one of the boys at Gowrie Dam on the way back, but we couldn't even stop to watch him. He'd been stalking a Daker, and the Daker ran off because the vehicle arrived, well, we arrived, and there were two scrub hairs that he was looking at, and well, we just had to come back because of, well, we got to come and talk to you.
Yeah, I'm very jealous, I must admit. Unfortunately we couldn't get him on the camera, and yeah, I was really wanting to try and pan and try and see if I could...
What a day for the camera to not work.
Yeah, exactly, hey. I heard you saying, I was like, no! But, oh well, it's one of those things I suppose, but we'll have to see if we can follow up tomorrow and see if he has been successful.
You?
You're driving.
No, you are. Is it me? Oh, cool, it's me. And look for cats and all sorts of things.
Yeah, for sure, hey, and try and follow up on the lines. And I wonder which lines they were.
Well, I started thinking that maybe that was one of the Kajima boys and it was the two Kahuma girls. I didn't see whether it was Snaggletooth.
I didn't see either. I didn't think so. But
Snaggletooth's got a lower canine.
Yeah, it actually protrudes out.
Yeah,
we would have seen if it was...
It's not the upper canine, is it?
Lower.
It is the lower.
It's lower, yeah. Actually kind of smiles at you.
So I seem to think that this must have been maybe those two females from the Kahuma. I think Peter, was it Peter Reddig?
Yeah, I think it was.
Who mentioned that it could have been the Kahumas, and I still can't imagine that it was just one of the Majingilans. It makes more sense that it was one of the Kajima boys.
But I don't remember seeing the Kajima boys. I think I saw them once on my test drive.
Yeah,
so I can't remember how big that mane was, but that mane didn't look that developed to me.
I don't know, it was difficult. When we did see him again, it was in the dark. I was driving, holding the light, driving. And then I tried to get, actually leaving the sighting, I left Graham there, and leaving the sighting, I had this feeling they were going to walk up Central Road. I wanted to try and get ahead of them, because I knew that if I stuck behind them, then we would be late. I was half hoping we would get stuck behind them, and we did, because as I got around onto Central Road, the two females, had already gotten onto the road, and the male was following them. I don't know, some of you might remember, but there's that dip on Central Road. Some people call it Giraffe Dip. I think Giraffe Dip is the next one, closer to Gowrie Cut Line. That's the one next to Cut Line. But anyways, in that dip, there's always water in that, well, there has been this whole season. There's been a little puddle of water in the sand there. And some of you will remember that we had some elephants drinking and throwing mud on them, or water on them, last year in, gosh, must have been April, May, sometime around there. Lishan was on camera with me, and we had one of those young elephant bulls spraying us with sand and water, and it was hilarious because we got covered, the whole jigger, the jigger, the camera, everything just got sprayed with sand and water, and it was rather comical. But they started drinking at that spot, and then they started walking up Central Road, and we had to take Nyala Road South as a detour.
Yeah, it's a shame we couldn't get them on camera.
Yeah,
there was something funny that happened there.
In typical fashion, there was the big male walking behind the female, so we had to just slowly drive behind him. And even though we were right there behind him, still couldn't really see his face. We just saw this butt and tail and other parts. Leerloop.
Yeah. Yeah, we won't go into that.
So, yeah, it was a fantastic afternoon.
It was, hey, I must admit.
This is one of those afternoons where just not enough time there's just not enough time in those 3 hours. You want those 3 hours to stretch to 6 hours.
Oh, you do, hey. And it's a shame we couldn't get to see the leopard, but as you were saying, it's actually on Torchwood, wasn't it? So it was a bit too far off the road that you couldn't sort of zoom in too much more.
Yeah. But he was standing up in that tree, so yeah, I think you all seemed to get a pretty good look at him. And I was really hoping that we could maybe get whoever this is at Gowrie Dam, it's Mishu or Nduna. Hoping that we could maybe get to see him, just to sort of really solidify the big five for the drive. I mean, we did get the big five today, and all of them a really nice sighting, but we didn't really get a good buffalo sighting other than the buff that were with the ellies, and we didn't really get a good leopard because he was up the tree far away. And I thought that final sort of coup de grace would have been one of the young boys at Gowrie Dam and
sure.
he did have his eye on a couple of things. He had his eye on a Daker at first, and then a couple of scrub hairs.
Oh, sure. So we may.
So tomorrow's another day. Munzuku nakona irwana siku. That's Shangaan for the same thing. Mañana. Domani.
Sorry, I've not heard you speak as much as that. That was actually quite nice. But yes, so we're going to be obviously discussing one of the highlights this evening, which is still falling into this week, I think, quite nicely.
Yeah, well, technically we'll have to talk about it again next week.
Maybe. Yeah. But it's also quite nice just to obviously fill in on what's been happening just as the guys were coming back from drive. And obviously that's why we're a little bit delayed. But what we do want to discuss is obviously two of the really awesome highlights this week. It's been quite a funny week as well. It's sort of been up and down for sightings as well. It kind of seems to be one day there's nothing and then the next day there's something going on. It's quite incredible. And when I came back from my leave and I literally just walked in, through the final control doors, said hi to everybody.
In fact, we didn't even say hi.
Yeah, well that's actually it. Well, I'd actually gone around and said hi to Herman and heard the buffalo cry, and I literally walked in and there's you guys with the buffalo actually being killed by the lions live on the camera. I mean, it really was just, I'd literally been back for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And this was definitely, I think, one of the highlights even of the year, I think. I mean, how often do we get lions killing the buffalo?
Well, being here now for 18 months, it's my highlight of the last 18 months in that sense. I mean, it was disturbing, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, I only realised about sometime later that I hadn't even said hello to you.
I know, it's like too engrossed, and Alex as well.
Yeah.
So for those of you who missed it, I think we're going to just play the diary, because it's basically covering the whole thing, and then we'll talk about it a little bit after the diary.
A beautiful shot with all 4 of them there. Amazing light.
Welcome to a new exciting Safari TV diary. Early morning sunlight opened up on the drama of the previous night, with Jared finding all 5 felines near the carcass. Flashbacks to the night action in infrared remind us of the lion feeding in the dark and the eerie sounds and graphic images of a drama caught live for the first time on camera. Seeing this unfold in such detail and sharing it with so many people brought home how raw and powerful nature really is. In the beautiful cold light of the rising sun, the lion merged with the dry tan-coloured bushveld as they slowly moved away from the carcass. With vultures circling in the sky and hyena closing in, we end this entry with the possibility of more excitement to come. So join us tomorrow for our next Safari TV diary.
Sorry everyone. I really hope you enjoyed that. Sorry, we're talking about something, but we'll tell you at the end. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed that diary. I'll double dare you. But yeah, see, you're making me lose my trail of thought here.
Not me.
But it just goes to show with the diary, it just goes a little bit from the evening with the kill, and then obviously what happened throughout the day. And it was, what, 24 hours that carcass was stripped bare. It was incredible, and it was also an incredible journey to follow. Actually, just with the dam camera, we actually had the buffalo carcass was dragged out by Warren, and he put it right in front of the camera. So we were actually able to see the vultures that came down onto it. There was a batalier, I think, was eating it first thing in the morning, just after lions.
Juvenile bet, yeah.
I think there was hyenas on it as well. We saw the lions go back to it. So it was really nice to see that whole process of having the bone stripped bare. And we do drive past occasionally, and I've seen that the head is sort of now detached from the carcass, from the ribs. So eventually, once the little joints pull apart, then you're going to be getting maybe giraffes eating the bone, tortoises once the weather becomes nicer, kudu, porcupine. So a whole number of animals will come and utilise those bones. So I'd wager maybe about 2 months and that whole thing's not going to be there. Maybe even sooner than that.
Also the number of different vulture species. I mean, we had all the vultures that we could probably get here, except for Cape, of course, but we had the hooded, the leopard-faced, the white-backed, and the white-headed.
Yeah,
So,
I miss the white-headed. But yeah, and also just even the behaviour from the vultures, I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
And even just them sort of, puffing their chests out and holding their wings up. And I was having a ball, an absolute ball, when I was on the camera that day for Sapiwe. And they were actually seeing them using the talons to actually fight with each other, and they were really, there was a few that were obviously really macho, as it were, and sort of bounding over, sort of doing the whole walk as vultures do, and it was kind of like this. And then they, sort of came in and started fighting with each other. I mean, I thought it was wonderful.
What happens is that so many times when there is a kill, and we've seen the Kajimas on the kill, we've seen the Mapokos, the Majingilans on buffalo kills. So it's not like the first time we've had a buffalo kill, but what it is that it's been so close that we've been able to watch it the whole day. And normally what happens is we see, maybe we get to the kill in the morning after they've killed it that night, and then we let the whole day go by, so we miss that whole day's worth of activity. And this is one of the first times that we were able to catch all of that activity during the day with the camera at the dam. So I don't think we're going to have that kind of opportunity again for a long time. No,
I don't think so,
Yeah.
But you never know, keep your fingers crossed. But I mean, actually seeing the actual kill as well, I mean, I must admit, I kind of missed half of it, because it was so, I'd done 9 hours of driving, and it was just so, I was just in awe, and I kind of missed half of it, because I think by the time I'd actually come in to see what was going on, it was almost as if it was over.
Yeah.
And I think we were trying to get the vehicle out and trying to get permission to go out and everything. And so
I was so distracted. All I wanted to be was, I just wanted to be there with the camera. And I knew that it was possible, but I knew there was a bit of red tape to go through, and there was a matter of who was going to be here. And
and I was.
You were
right at the right time. But I mean, definitely there was definitely an atmosphere there, even from sitting from behind the camera. I mean, obviously you were right there in the midst of everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, as Mark was saying, when it was occurring, to actually have it documented with the lion, with the calf, and I know a lot of you were obviously very distraught at that. And obviously it's one of those things. It's unavoidable to be distraught at it. That I think, it is one of those things, it does happen in nature. And what you've got to remember is there'll be a lot of chemicals running around the body of that animal, and actually it probably wouldn't have felt anything. It probably was just calling out because obviously this thing is happening to it, and obviously it would have been a bit distressed itself, but I don't think it would have felt anything as such. I think there would have been too much adrenaline running around. And if people have actually been in very bad accidents, I think they can actually say to you, they can have limbs missing and things like that. Yeah, well, yourself.
I had a limb nearly missing. But yes, I've been in a few scraps, and while it is happening, you don't feel a thing. I mean, I could even remember feeling my bones break, not feeling a thing. I think it might be different with a lion chewing. Let's not get too graphic.
I think it would just be too much of a shock.
Generally speaking, when animals are being killed by something, the adrenaline is just pumping so much that that nothing is felt. And yeah, the pain comes afterwards, but for that calf there would have been no pain afterwards, as it was eaten up.
So.
I mean, it was traumatic. It was, I wanted to be out there. I wanted to be with the events that were happening with the vehicle, with the camera, because that is who I am. Even if I was not on a camera, if I was back home and I heard this, and I've done this at home, even back home where I don't even have a camera, and I get something like this happening, I've got to be out there. I've got to be there with the action, to feel it, to be a part of it, so I can switch off my engine, sit in the dark and hear this raw nature happening around me. It doesn't mean to say that I like it, that I can turn a blind eye to it. It doesn't mean that I'm not affected by it. It doesn't mean that I don't feel. I do. I feel very strongly. I can close my eyes at night and I can hear the screams of baby warthog that were killed 20 years ago by cheetah. I can visualize a number of kills that I've seen in my lifetime that have been really, really bad kills. It's not all the time that it happens cleanly. Sometimes it does, and often when it does happen cleanly, it's somewhat of a relief. I mean, I can remember a zebra that was injured once actually walking up to 3 sub-adult lion and virtually saying, "Here I am." And that's all they did. They just lifted their arms and pulled it down and killed it. And they had actually made an attempt on its life earlier in that day, and we were all jaw on the ground,
that is quite
gobsmacked.
Yeah. Almost if it gave itself up.
Their mother had been injured in a buffalo hunt. The inside of her thigh, this buffalo caught her on the inside of her leg, and when the vet was cleaning out the wound, his whole fist went into her thigh. I mean, she was injured badly, and she was sewn up and she was left to heal with antibiotics. And she was part of the pride that had splintered off. She occasionally joined up with the pride, but she had these 3 sub-adults, these 2 females and a male. I think it was 2 females and a male, or 2 males and a female. Gosh, it was only a few years ago. I forget already. 2005, 2006. And these 3 sub-adults were hunting for her. And they had tried on the zebra in the morning, and they'd missed, and they'd injured it badly. And the zebra had run off. And when we got back to them in the afternoon, the zebra came out of the tree line. And it's not like I didn't know they were there, because they sat up out of the marshland, the dry marshes, and they actually watched the zebra, and the zebra just walked straight towards them.
Wow.
I was dumbfounded.
That is incredible.
But
I mean, it really is a part of life, and that's what we've always got to remember. If we do see things like that it is part of life, and everything is connected. And I know Disney and all the circle of life, it's a bit cliche, but it is very, very true. And as we said about the way the whole thing has gone now with feeding the vultures and all the other animals, there was a meal there for all those animals. So they've, something dies, it obviously helps something else to live, and that's what you've always got to remember. And obviously, it being very graphic there and then, it is still part of nature. We can't just pick and choose what we want to show you. If you're interested in nature, then you need to see everything. But obviously, we show you the nice parts as well, and you've got to always remember that. And think about Karula obviously being mated a few weeks ago now, and we should be expecting cubs, and obviously that's part of the joy of life. So definitely. And there's some of you were saying in chat you thought you may be a bit weird because you could actually watch the kill, and I don't think that's weird at all either. I think that's an understanding that animals need to eat, and this is the only way they can do it. And I think, don't be worried about being able to watch an animal being killed, because you are human at the end of the day, and if you will feel something, I'm sure you do. The fact that you're able to watch it as well doesn't mean to say that you're
I think it means
human.
that we're animal at the end of the day. Is that we understand.
So.
You said it. It's an understanding. It's understanding the process of nature, and not bringing in the human emotion that we have come to feel so strongly about. I think I did bring that up as well.
Yeah. So I know just a few people in chat were just a bit worried, and they're a bit concerned, and so that's why I just want to say to you, don't